Hello, welcome to this session of Talking Tech, Girls and Women and ICT, Geospatial Edition. My name is Darya Lappo. I'm a master's student in cartography. Today, I'm excited to be having a discussion about geospatial careers with Lara Prades. Lara is a project coordinator for a project called Platform for Real-Time Impact and Situation Monitoring of the Climate and Earth Observation Unit in the World Food Programme. Talking Tech is a series celebrating girls and women in tech being recorded around the world between Girls in ICT Day 2020 to Girls in ICT Day 2022. Girls in ICT Day is an international day marked on the fourth Thursday of each April. In 2021, Girls in ICT Day was on the 22nd of April. The objectives of Girls in ICT Day are to help to create a global environment that empowers and encourages girls and young women to consider studies and careers in the growing field of information and communication technology. This series aims to inspire girls and younger women with information about a range of ICT careers and bring before a broader audience some of the role model women in ICT and share information about career journeys and work. We want to show examples of how ICT is being used to support achievement of the sustainable development goals and initiatives that are working with girls to support them in ICT studies or future ICT careers. The Talking Tech series is brought to you by the International Telecommunications Union, United Nations International Computing Center, and the Office of the UN Secretary General's Envoy on Youth and is in support of Equals, the global partnership for gender equality in the digital age. This interview is a part of the Geospatial Edition of the Talking Tech series. This special edition aims to shed light on experiences of women and girls working or studying in the field of geospatial technology. MSK Cartography and the United Nations Geospatial Network is pleased to be a partner of this special edition and host this session today. To provide a brief background on our partner, UN Geospatial Network is a network of geospatial experts of the UN system whose mission and vision is to strengthen the coordination and coherence of geospatial information management within the UN system to transform the lives of people, places, and planet. A better world with geospatial. For more information, you can visit the website of UN Geospatial Network. Empirical observations support the statement that the geospatial sector is male-dominant. There is an underrepresentation of women CEOs, directors of heads of GIS operations in the private and public sectors, as well as in academia. A gender-balanced geospatial sector is something that I'm passionate about, and so I'm delighted to now shift to a conversation with Lara here. To start with, could you please introduce yourself? Basically, what is your current position is?
Sure, Darya, with pleasure. So I'm a geospatial analyst with around, I think, 12 years of experience in the World Food Programme. And most of my experience has been in the emergency division, in where over time I transitioned to positions of more responsibility until I had the pleasure to start leading WSP Geospatial Unit for 4 years. So my role over those years, in a nutshell, was to try to really mainstream the use of GIS for a more evidence-based decision-making, mostly for 2 use cases, which I'm very passionate about, is emergency preparedness and response and intervention design. However, I recently moved on to the Research Analysis and Monitoring Division in WSP, particularly to the Climate and Earth Observation Unit. And I'm coordinating a very exciting project, which is called Platform for Real-Time Impact and Situation Monitoring that you introduced earlier, Darya, for climate hazards. So the objective of the project is to support the government by overlaying and assessing a potential risk of impact of climate hazards in the most vulnerable communities to be able to target better disaster responses and risk reduction. So this is what I'm doing right now in using geospatial. Thank you for the question.
That sounds really interesting, but I'd like to know about how did you get into geospatial, especially who or what has influenced or inspired you during your career?
That's a very good question as well. Okay, so me with Geospatial was like first, like love at first sight, as we used to say. So when I discovered it, I never left it. It was through university. So we had to do a project using GIS, which for me was the first time for finding the most suitable location for a landfill, I think. So we had to combine all different types of geospatial indicators, from economic data, say environmental, all sorts of different types of data to be able to find the most suitable location. So as soon as I opened all these layers in the GIS software, I mean, was like the first time you put on the 3D glasses and say, my goodness, this is amazing. So I could really see all the patterns to the spatial relationships of these layers overlay one on top of each other. So for me, it was like, that moment was like an eye-opener. So I immediately fell in love with the power and potential of this. And ever since, I followed that path. So I finished university and I was determined to continue my studies on that. So followed by a master's and a PhD on geospatial. And in terms of people that have influenced me, there are many, but I'm going to choose, I think, some of the main ones. I must say that I have met amazing people traveling thanks to WSP in all the different countries of visit. But if I have to choose, I think the most influencing ones was my very two first supervisors. They know who they are. As for me, it was a very, I think when you start a new career just after university, it's very important to come across supervisors that believe in you, that value your work, and that really give you the space to evolve and shine. And they really took out all the analytical skills that I didn't know I had submersed, and we did great things together, applying GIS for the humanitarian community, I think, for the benefit of everyone. We did great things. So I think that was very, very, very important for me to find them there. Then they move on and I move on as well, but they really determine who I am today. And I think I also have quite more indirect influence, but that has also been quite important, because I have been following all the conferences and the different talks, which is the founder and president of ESRI. It's Jan Dangermond. He's also has an environmental background, as I do. And in addition to having taken ESRI as being one of the most, if not the most successful GIS company, he has also over time really find the time to do good actions for the environment and creating nature preserves and all of that. Plus, I really find extremely inspiring his talks on GIS, and he does a very good job and favor to all of us in this community in the way he communicates GIS across the different sectors. So I think he has also been a more indirect, but as well positive influence. So I think those two big influences, Larry. Thank you.
Wow, that's fantastic. But however, I reckon that you must have met lots of challenges on your way. Tell us about any obstacles to success that you had to work to get over.
I have gone through many, I think, obstacles. There's one of the main one that I have had that I'm sure it will resonate with many of my colleagues in this field. It has been the difficulty to really convey the importance of the work we do, as well as to be able to communicate the power and potential of geospatial, to be able to better justify projects to the higher level and get that support that we also need. So I think often geospatial is perceived as sort of support inferior function compared to others, and this leads to many problems. So it takes a long time to really build and maintain that space and ownership over it. So during my career, always I have witnessed how there seems to be lack of interest in geospatial compared to other areas of work. And ultimately this leads to either us as GIS professionals be left out of the discussions, and in where GIS would have played a vital role, or be asked to assist at mid or end projects. So this happens a lot. So then we need to make a lot of effort in always explain the value and to all the different stakeholders at different levels, and explain it as well in a way that GIS is not a map, it's not just cartography, I think there's much more behind that is never seen or perceived. So we all as community we have a lot of work ahead to communicate this in the right way. And in WSP, I think this obstacle is even more pronounced because we have a staffing rotation policy. So the staff every 2 or 4 years are due to move somewhere else. So by the time you make all of this effort to convince your leadership, it's time for them to move on. So I just want to say how I have more or less tried to overcome this or try to fight it as much as I could is to be able to create, important to create a strategy that is in line with the organization strategy, so it resonates with the leadership groups. Also over time, build really the foundation and to really set up the guidance principles for the team and be able to build the trust in the technology. And something very important, and I think is the most important at all, like show the case of how GIS can solve business problems and institutionalize those solutions. So this is very important. Make them part of the business as usual. But again, this takes a long time. So I think this is how along the lines I have been working on, and I think I managed to create a good space and a good culture of trust around GIS in WSP.
That sounds so impressive, and seems like you have already done a great, invaluable work to show people the power of Geospatial. And what quality of character is your greatest strength that has helped you to succeed? How have you overcome your own weaknesses?
Okay, so I think this question is linked to the above, the one you just asked, because I think for overcoming those challenges, one requires a lot of determination and a little bit of a stubbornness for never giving up. So it's really belief of what you do and why it's important. So I think for me, I mean, I think those who have worked with me, I think can say that for me, no sort of difficult situations are always like an encouragement to keep going and never give up. So I think it's always very important, really follow through what you think and never get discouraged, and use those, whenever you think you're about to give up, just keep pressing ahead. So I think determination has been key for me over time, because there have been quite in these 12 plus years I've been in WSP in Geospatial, I have had some tough moments. So I think it is important to have a clear of the idea of what you want and also what you don't want. It's always very important. So for me, I knew from when I was your age, even earlier, that I wanted a career in Geospatial, but in the humanitarian sector. So when I was studying, I identified places that could have like a good chances for funding a master's and then a job. So I thought I identify Rome because it hosts 3H headquarters of UN agencies as well as Nairobi. And at the end, I ended up in Rome because it has a really good master's in Geospatial apply also to natural resources. So I took this master's program and then I also followed a PhD. And I think that in this case, the determination and willingness really made me find a job as a young professional in WSP. And I think it happened by itself. I mean, I linked the program of the master to something I could do in WSP. I contacted them and everything fell into place without me even realizing. So I think if we have sight of what we want and don't lose track, it will fall into place by itself. So determination and never giving up.
Thanks for this great advice. However, fortunately, our lives are not only our jobs. I'm wondering if you have any activities beyond your job you would like to tell us.
Yes, so a secret. So as well, those who knows me, I'm obsessed with wolves. I love them. I mean, so whenever I can, I go hiking very early in the morning or at night to try to track wolves. Those are my passion. I also love horse riding. I've been horse riding and jumping since I was a very, very young child. So everything about nature, hiking, animals, and also I really love to see and read about how, as well, Geospatial is applied to conservation of wildlife. So I think I'm a very outdoors person. Whenever I'm not working, I need to be out there in the countryside, in the mountains, looking for wolves, but not only.
That's great. Really great. I also a big fan of hiking. I am ready to go every weekend for a hike. Fortunately, in Germany, I have lots of opportunity to do it even every weekend.
Let's go
Uh,
together, Darya, one day.
yeah. But back to our topic. Being students, I'd like to ask you about your opinion about the future of geospatial tech. Are there any changes you'd like to see in this field in the future?
Oh, yes. So my wish list would be, and this is always in line with what we have been discussing so far, that there's this lack of understanding of what geospatial can do. So I think we need overall increased geospatial literacy so that the world and everyone, has more, increases ability to how to interpret the spatial data and inform decision making. So I think in the future, slowly, the basic breadth and depth of GIS capacity will increase. So it will not longer be a capacity reserved for a few and understood by even fewer. So I hope there is a better understanding of what this can do, and that is much more than a tool for you for making maps. So this is what I hope. I also hope that there will be better access and availability of higher quality spatial data across sectors, which is always a struggle, and then better data integration. And again, that this discipline is used more as a norm for decision making. And I think finally, my advice to newbies on this one that are just embarking in this profession is to always, which I didn't have, but I regretted over the years. I think it's important not to see GIS as a subset of something, but rather have a really broader vision. So work towards an integrated, like, evidence-based environment. So more of not focus only in the single tool, but rather be able to learn programming languages, build your own tools, and see GIS as within the concept of data science, rather than being seen in isolation. So I think this is important because it's something that can be applied to anything, and it really has to be seen within data science and not by itself. So I hope that's going to happen soon. I hope in the next 5 years.
Thanks, Lara, for this great advice. However, back to our theme of girls and women in tech. What do you think about the gender gap, and have you encountered it in your own experience?
I have always encountered a huge gender gap, which I always try to fight. So wherever the team I have been managing for years, and when I have worked before for years, we were, I think in average, we were like 15 people, and there were always, in average, myself and another female. So it's been incredible. So I think even if I have been trying to promote gender balance and bring a more balanced environment, it has always been very hard because every time we were open a job vacancy, for one applicant of a female, we would get 10 male applicants. So I think this means that there is a problem that is deep rooted in society, and it really goes back to the roots. I think it's back to the gender stereotyping that it happens from the early ages when we're children, and how we are profiled from the start in terms of clothes and everything. So I think all of that sort of brainwashing leads to being able to decide what do we want to study. So I think it really lays the foundation for what we study, and this creates also this ultimate problem of the gender gap in tech in general. So yes, I have always tried to improve this, and I over time I even got used to it that this is a very male dominant sector, but I always was aware of it and tried to increase the gender diversity of the team. I think it's demonstrated that a gender balanced team is much more, how do you say? I don't want to say efficient, but yes, I mean, the effectiveness, it's increased by gender diversity, but as well as geographical diversity. So I think this is something we all have to work towards. And but again, it has to be driven by society. So yes, it's a problem I always encountered. I try to fight, but let's all work together to make a more balanced world for both as well, gender and diversity. Sorry, and geography.
I totally agree with you that diversity leads to greater results, definitely. And
Yeah.
my last question for today, do you have any career advice for girls and women and geospatial?
Oh, yes. So I think it's be curious and never really stop learning. This is a field that evolves very quickly. So also like never give up, as I said initially, because you may encounter some of the same obstacles I did from my career, but if they are determined, it will always ultimately pay off. So even if you don't see it right away, it will come. So I just want to also to encourage them to follow a career in geospatial if this is what's deep within, and really follow it through, because it's a really fascinating profession and we need more girls and women in this field. So be confident on what you like and dislike, and don't bother with the stereotypes. So yes, and I think also over time, I also felt lost in sometimes of my career. So I mean, don't get discouraged and listen to what you really want, because I think what's within you, it will never fail. So yes, just embrace and trust your heart, because yeah, it's always the good direction. So I think in Darya, my adjustment, I think is never really give up. And I'm sure you are one of those that I'm giving advice as well, because I'm sure you never give up. And I think, yes, and this finally takes us to the time where it's my turn to ask you some questions, which I'm very keen about, finally, to learn more about you. So this takes us to our first question. So I would love to know, how did you get into Geospatial, and what did it like catch you about it?
Okay, I think I've been interested in nature and the environment probably since I was born. And my parents bought me books, and I read a lot about our planet and different countries. I've always dreamed to travel a lot. But in particular, I should thank my school geography teacher. She noticed my interest and convinced me to participate in geo competitions and school projects about smart cities. So like mobility, smart cities, urban planning. I fell in love with it and ended up in the faculty of geography. And during my bachelor, I studied GIS. Yeah, something like this.
Yeah, we're very similar.
Yeah.
And what is that you like most about it?
I think I adore the fact that geospatial can be used in any field, absolutely any field, because everything happens somewhere. Being able to manage and analyze the geospatial data gives the opportunity to be successful in any field, from marketing to mining, for example. People just need to choose whatever they want. Yeah,
that's true. I hope more people saw it like that way. I guess I would love to know, I mean, if there is something that you have done in tech that you're particularly excited about or proud in there.
Honestly, that's a tough question. For me, it has always been difficult to think about my achievements. I'm a perfectionist, and so never like good enough. But okay, I'm proud of to be a part of my master degree program. I'm proud of the different projects we have done during that study. For example, during my first study semester in Technical University of Munich, we had subject called mapping project, and the idea was that we had to team up with my classmates and create something cool. Like we didn't have any limitations about topic or tools, whatever. And neither me nor my teammates, we didn't have like any experience in web development, like I know even like programming languages. So, but we managed to create really cool web application, like something story, like game, blog post, which shows people what they can do in Unique during lockdown when everything is closed, just to what to do and how to have fun. So I'm proud that every day I learn something new, and I hope in the future I will be a part of a lot of cool things.
Very, very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, you have done a lot of things already.
Thank you.
So, and now after all of that, I mean, where are the next steps for you? What are you gonna, where do you have ahead? How are you gonna
Uh,
continue your studies?
Uh, First of all, for now, I have to finish my master's degree. Next semester, I will start my master's thesis. I want to do something cool, tech related, and won't be happy if it was applied and people found it useful and interesting. I was thinking about something like mobile related because we just started course called Mobile Cartography. So I already felt in love with that class, and probably I will work on some mobile app or something like this. Okay, it's still haven't decided yet completely, but yeah, anyway, something cool. After graduation, I hope that I will find a good job. I'm not sure that I want do to do PhD right after finishing my master, probably in several years after working, after gaining more working experience. So I already know what I like and what I don't like. So hopefully it will help me to find my future path.
Yes, I know, I'm sure you will. You have it all very clear, which is the main thing at
Thank
your
you. Thank you very much.
And I think finally, Darya, I would also like to know, I mean, if you have any messages for other young women in tech, or even not so young anymore.
Mhm.
So, and then that you would like to share.
For sure, I have like not only for other women, like for me too. Just keep going. If you like something, like never hesitate and never stop learning new things. At my personal ad, like advice from my personal experience, learn programming languages because there's a great tool to make our lives, our work much easier. And things like this. So thank you very much, Lara, for this amazing, fruitful conversation. That wraps up our session today for Talking Tech, Girls and Women and ICT, Geospatial Edition. I really enjoyed our chat today. A big thanks to all our viewers for watching.
Thank you, Larry.